Yeah. Hi there, everybody. It's Dan Cerrucci again, and I'm speaking with Andrew Agliata. Did I pronounce your name right,
You
Andrew?
did, sir. Thank you very much, Agliata.
Andrew Agliata. And Andrew and I met through somebody else. I think it was Deb Goswami who told me about you.
Yes.
And then we started chatting on Facebook. And Andrew is a young man. I say young compared to me, of course, a young man and with a fascinating story to tell, a very proud father. I know you consider that your very most important role, Andrew. You have, he's from Denville, up in the northern part of the state of New Jersey. I'm down here in the South in Cherry Hill. He's up in Morris County. I'm down here in Camden County. If you know anything about New Jersey, there's North Jersey and there's South Jersey, and they're almost like two separate states, but Facebook has brought so many of us together. So
social media.
Yeah, and Andrew, you have three children. What are they? They're all 8 and under?
Yes, so Weston, my oldest, he's 8, proud second grader in Rockaway Borough School District. My second oldest, JB, he's 5, just started kindergarten this past year, so we're getting him started. And my youngest, my daughter Adelia, is 2, and she's the boss of the entire family.
They're at wonderful ages. I saw a picture of them. They're at wonderful ages. They're adorable kids. And in this picture that I saw of them, they were just all over you.
Oh, yeah.
and you could tell they really, really love their dad. They got a big teddy bear of a dad there too, by the way,
yeah.
from what I can see. So Andrew, one of the reasons why we're chatting is because we both have an interest in politics and in New Jersey politics. And you're sort of involved there in Morris County. You're in fact, you're a member of the Young Republicans there. How did you get involved in that?
Well, I got involved through some friends of mine that told me that the Young Republicans Club was a good group of like-minded individuals, such as myself, and that if I wanted to further my education and understanding of politics on the state and national level, that the Young Republicans would be a great vehicle and a great group to help me with that in a way for me to get started.
Morris County is it's a pretty reliable Republican county.
It has been for a long time. It's been a Republican stronghold. Yeah.
And my friend Senator Joe Panaccio is up there. Senator Panaccio, who's a good guy and is fighting the good fight. And of course, that is the home county of a person that some of us may have heard of. We just may have heard of him, Chris Christie.
Yeah.
Have you run into Chris Christie up there in Morris County, Andrew?
I have never personally met him, but yeah, he got started as a freeholder in Morris County. So there you go.
Yes, if you run into him, be sure to mention my name.
I certainly will.
And he'll say, and when he hears that you're a friend of Dan Cerrucci, Chris Christie will probably say, "Oh, you are? Well, then get the hell out of here."
Well, then I love a good debate, so I certainly will bring you up.
No, I don't think he'll say that. I don't think he'll say that, but I never know what Chris Christie is going to say. And that's one of the reasons why I love him.
I'll tell you what, if the last 8 years has taught me anything, is that you can never tell what's coming. So
you could, no, absolutely not. So you got involved a couple of years ago.
I did.
And have you worked on any campaigns yet, Andrew?
I actually worked at a very low level. I worked on Rosemary Becky's campaign, just going door to door, very hearts and minds type of thing. I'm a talker. I can talk to damn near anybody. So I just was door knocking, going around and asking people what they cared about, what the issues were, and reporting back to the campaign.
Right. And so what was that like, going door to door and pressing the flesh with people? I mean, this was before the COVID lockdown, of course.
This was no, this was during. This was
During.
right before the election. So I got
All
started.
right. So you didn't really get that close to people then.
Yeah, I mean, I knock on the door and I take, several
Right.
steps back. So when they open the door, okay, and I have to wear the mask and everything.
Right.
Um, so, that is what it is. But I'll tell you, I really enjoyed myself. I love going door to door. I love engaging with people. That's my strong suit. I'm not a numbers guy. Put me in front of a room of strangers and I got them.
So you think you might run for office yourself someday?
The people that are closest to me, they will tell you that while I'm very good, you know, public speaker, while I can talk to damn near anybody, I am much more of a behind the scenes guy. My mother would tell you that I'm much more of a chief of staff type of character
Ah,
than
uh-huh,
being the person in front.
uh-huh. Um, let's see, who's your congressman up there? Did
But
you have a race for Congress this last time around?
our congressman is Mikey Sherrill.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
Yeah.
my.
You know,
Oh,
obviously I
my.
don't agree with her politics, but she did serve our country bravely, and I got all the respect in the world for anybody that puts some skin in the game and goes over and serves
Okay.
the country.
She was supposed to have a pretty close race there this time.
Yeah, I know at least in Morris County and the surrounding counties, Rosemary put up a pretty good fight. But yeah, this year the Democrats took Morris County, not only in the congressional
Ouch.
election, but in the general, in the presidential as well.
Now,
Uh,
Andrew, have you been a supporter of President Trump?
I have, yes.
Well,
Something I really enjoyed about President Trump, this person, this individual, say whatever else you will about the guy, but he has the most moral courage of anybody I have ever seen. He will say exactly what he was thinking all the time. And you don't really meet a lot of people like that, especially in politics. Everybody's, in their ear, oh, you should say this, you should say that. But this guy will say whatever he is thinking, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I got a lot of respect for somebody like that.
so he comes across to you as incredibly authentic.
Yes. I mean, he just is who he is. He's not sugarcoating. He's not putting on an act. He just is who he is,
Well,
plain and
no,
simple.
we're in the middle of the second impeachment trial now, which just started as we're speaking here. Do you feel that President Trump incited the riots on Capitol Hill?
No, I don't. I listened to every word of that speech.
Right,
And if others did the same thing,
right.
this man blatantly said that he wanted people to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue and go to the Capitol and peacefully and patriotically let the Congress know what they
Mhm.
want. There was no talk of violence or aggression. I think at one point he said, oh, he was talking about the issues, about what people were passionate about. And like you and I would be talking about something saying, oh, yeah, we got to fight for what we believe in. You're not talking about actually fist fighting. It's like a common jargon. You'll say, yeah, I fight for your rights. You're not going out and fighting in the street.
Well,
You're just saying,
you've been involved in political campaigns, and you'll hear a politician say, this is going to be a tough fight, or we're going to get out
exactly.
there and fight.
Exactly. It's not, I mean, man, people have become so sensitive. Everybody is just so scared. And if you say the word fight, they immediately think they want to take your head off literally, and it's, open and shut case.
Do you feel that has had a chilling effect on you, that all this PC stuff, this politically correct stuff?
I do. I think
You
it's
really have to
not
take
just an effect
caution,
on
right?
me. I think it's had a really negative effect on the whole country.
Because we're not allowed to really be more candid with one another.
Yeah, everybody, now I'm not advocating for not being respectful.
Right.
Of course, the things that you say these things in a respectful, polite manner. But you know, it's just become too much of this walking on eggshells type of mentality where now people's stuff they said 20 years ago is being brought up because they said oh, I don't like eating Mexican food, and boom, they're labeled a racist. Like, oh my god, come on.
And anybody could dredge up something that you said, even some might have been an offhand remark, or you might have thought that that your conversation was confidential, or you might not have given it a second thought. And all of a
Exactly.
sudden, you're
It's
in
like
trouble.
when they got Trump, they brought up that conversation he was having with Billy Bush on the bus. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was pretty graphic.
It was graphic, okay? But, I don't know about you, but I've been in a locker room before, and this is exactly what this is locker room talk. It's like if you recorded every single locker room of all the world leaders, my God, you know,
I don't think you're going to be able to say that kind of stuff even in a locker room anymore.
but I mean, man, they're taking
Yeah.
away, uh, not that they're taking it away, but people have, especially guys, girls, they all say things to each other,
Right.
especially when they think it's being private, that of course you wouldn't say it in
Right.
public.
Well, if you recall that at the time that conversation came to light, was made public, there were even women who said, married women who said, I've heard this sort of talk. I'm familiar with it, and it's not right, but I'm not horrified by it.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there's been a dramatic shift, Andrew, since that time. There's been a dramatic shift, and certainly the forces of the left have, I think they've gotten the upper hand and they're on the march. But Andrew, you are a Jersey guy. You're born and bred in Jersey.
I am proud of it.
Okay, so have you always been in that Morris County area?
Well, I've always called Morris County my home.
Right.
Uh, you and I were discussing earlier. I spent quite a large amount of time of my life on the road. I actually left home.
Right.
In
I love this
2000.
story. I mean, I love this story. Wait, we've got to set this story up because this is so interesting. You uh, you went to high school prep school. You went
I did
to
Seton Hall
really
Prep.
a rather exclusive high school prep school, Seton
Yeah,
Hall Prep.
it's prestigious for sure.
Yeah. Now you must have had pretty good grades and all. I mean, you must have
I
been a
did. I
person.
was I was a great student. I really
You
was.
were a great student. Were you a great student, like, from when you were a kid?
Yes. Yeah.
Were you always interested in civics and politics?
No, I can't say I was, especially as a young man. In middle school and high school, I cared to the point that your average high schooler would care. Back then,
Mhm,
I think I
mhm.
looked at the presidential elections more as a popularity contest than a policy contest.
Right, right,
Of course, I've since learned much better,
right.
but the first election I voted for John McCain in
Uh-huh.
2000 and 2008. Was that when it was?
Um,
I remember. But
somewhere,
yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was McCain and Obama. I voted for John.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
was the first time I ever
That
voted, and
was
that was
McCain versus Obama, yeah.
yes,
And
yeah,
so then you went to you graduated from Seton Hall prep school,
I
and you
did.
went to Seton Hall University.
I
They're
did.
not really related.
No, yes, same name, but there's no actual affiliation.
Okay. And so you had a notion of college that it didn't pan out for you. Tell us about
Yeah.
that.
I thought college was going to be a lot more, people sharing ideas in a very open classroom, like a forum.
Right.
Teachers and students sitting amongst each other discussing. But it was just, more of that lecture style that you'll see in high school, with a teacher up front just lecturing back to you.
So the
And
teachers would come in and lecture, and I gather you were a somewhat not only inquisitive and inquiring student, but you were also restless. Is it fair to say you were restless, Andrew?
yes, well, like I was saying before, I would never argue with 2 + 2 = 4. But if a teacher is up there saying, well, vanilla is the best flavor. Well, hold on a second. There's a case for chocolate. You know that, right? So when it comes to fact, you can't argue. But when it comes to opinion, well, hold on. Let's discuss this a little bit. But they don't
So,
want to do that.
so let me ask you this. So the teachers would walk into the room and you thought it was going to be what you described as an Aristotelian format where you can
Yeah,
question and
just a
challenge
forum.
the professor. You question and challenge the professor would welcome this. There would be a back and forth and it would be intellectually stimulating. And
Yeah.
that's the way you would learn. But it
Yes.
wasn't that way.
No.
Now, did the teachers, when they lectured, did they have like a liberal bias or something?
Yes. So this was, well, as you and I would both probably agree, higher education has become increasingly leftist, even Marxist to some extent.
Right.
And this was, back in 2005, 2006. That ideology in higher education was already well underway. So yeah, I did have a lot of more left-minded teachers. Yeah.
I'm laughing because I'm just laughing because this is also familiar to me, Andrew. It's so familiar to me. And it's become so epidemic that one of the problems that I had when I taught college courses was getting the kids to challenge and question me. They had shut down. They just don't do it anymore because they learn that's not what you do. Okay.
Certainly scared to question. I mean, my God, people are scared of different opinions right now.
That is very, very well put. And I'm going to repeat it. People are scared of different opinions.
Yeah.
Okay. And they don't seem to understand this is just somebody's opinion. It's not a challenge. It's not an insult. You shouldn't take it personally.
Yeah, of course
It's
not. My God.
just somebody's opinion.
You're preaching to the choir here, Dan. I mean, I'm right here
I know,
with you.
but I want our listeners to hear this, our
Yeah.
viewers to hear this. Okay. But this is great. Now, so Andrew is in this situation. College is nothing like he expected it to be. You completed what, 2 years?
I did. Yeah, I got up to my
Completes
associate.
2 years. And then, Andrew, you did something very, very dramatic and unexpected. What was it?
One would say it was very unorthodox of me. So what I did, I knew that I wanted a form of education, but I knew that the education I wanted wasn't going to be within the walls of the university. It was going to be somewhere out there. I didn't where that was. I wasn't sure. So I told my parents that I was going to go hang out with a friend one weekend, and I packed my car up and I hit the road, and I didn't stop until I hit Cleveland. And from there, to make a long story short, Dan, I traveled the country for about, let's see, until 2015. Now, I did stay in places, for extended periods of time, especially California. I would say I lived in California for about at least 2 years. But still, I would call it my home base, and I would go out and
Well, wait a
experience
minute, wait a
something new.
minute. You were how old when you bolted? I say you bolted. So you just ran away. So you were how old at the time?
I was 21 years old.
21. So you were okay. So I mean, you were more than legally an adult. Now, were your parents worried at first? As in, what the
Oh yeah,
hell?
that is putting it lightly.
Were they angry?
I'm sure my mother was a little angry. She had a certain idea of what she wanted me to be in life, and I was certainly bucking against that. I think my dad understood what I was going through a little bit more, uh, partly because he had done something similar when he was a younger man. So maybe I got that from him. I don't know, but I always tell people. I told you this before. I might have not have a. I maybe I don't have a fancy law degree on my wall or something like that. But I'll tell you, I got a master's degree from the School of Hard Knocks. I have.
Because when you left, you had to support yourself. You
I did.
started to get odd jobs. I mean, what were
I
some of the
did.
jobs you did?
I mean, I've had jobs in bread factories. I had a job, sweeping floors. I mean, all manner on farms. I just went, I would go to a different city and I would look at on Craigslist. There's like or there used to be an ETC section for part-time work. And I just would look at it and say, okay, here's a cash paying gig, 10, $12 an hour, whatever it may be. Uh, and I would go and I would say, people would say, oh, well, you need to fill an application. Like, well, listen, pal, I can sweep a floor. I can stock a shelf. So let's do this. You're going to, we're starting today. And I didn't take any prisoners.
And now you said you did eventually wind up in California where you spent a couple of years. What part of California?
I actually lived in liberal capital, San Francisco. Yeah.
Oh boy, now well, I'm hoping you made pretty good money there because that's not cheap to live there, Andrew.
Yeah, no, the cost of living, it was wild. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And so what was that like?
I mean, California. So I grew up listening to a lot of classic rock and stuff like that, and I had this idea, go west, my son. It was just in my brain, and I knew that I wanted to experience that, and I just had this cowboy itch to me. I said, okay, the Wild West. Let me go experience that. Let's see what that's like. So I did.
And so why did you come back to New Jersey?
Well, when I
I
was in
think we say,
California.
those of us in New Jersey are like, why are you even still living in New Jersey? Okay, but I got to
I
ask you,
know,
why
I
did you
always
come
get it
back?
too. I always get when people are like, "What the heck did you move back here for?" Well, it's my home. It's where my family is. When I was in California, I had my first my oldest son Weston, uh, and things weren't really working out with his mother. So I knew that I needed to get to have a better support system if I was going to be the type of parent I knew I needed to be. So I decided, you know what? There's no one better than family to support you. So I moved me and my son back to New Jersey.
Okay, and you've since had two more children,
Yes.
and so now you you have in mind that you're going to get back to college. Tell us how you're going to do it.
Well, so I've always wanted to serve my country, and life always, whether through my own decisions or whatever, life always found a way to kind of steer me in a different direction. But I decided that I wanted to join the National Guard. The National Guard, obviously, as many people know, will help pay for college tuition, sometimes the entirety of it. So I am going to, hopefully, fingers crossed, use the National Guard as a means to complete my education, serve my country, and really bring honor to my family.
This is a remarkable story, and usually a person joins the National Guard, am I correct? I mean, is much younger,
Yes,
but you think you're up for it.
I know I'm up for it. Age is just a number, Dan.
So you come across to me, Andrew, as a very self-possessed and confident person. Where did you get this from?
Uh, Man, that is a good question. Uh, when I was, let's see, I was 6 years old. I came home one day. I got a little beat up at school as a very, very young man. 6 years old, you're really young.
You were a
And
kid.
my dad decided, he said, well, that's enough of that. And he enrolled me in karate and martial arts in Bhutan, at the Bhutan Karate Academy. God bless him. And through the next 2 decades, so, not only does karate teach you how to punch and kick, but what it's really teaching you is mental fortitude and discipline. And through that, I became I just cultivated this positive, resilient mindset. And it's what allowed me to travel the country and not really, I was never nervous about, oh my God, this is just absolutely crazy what I'm doing. No, this is what I'm doing. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to be good at it. So I owe a lot of that to martial arts. And I just had world's greatest parents that were very, they used positive reinforcement. They never talked down to me. Remember, my dad told me a story. He used to never, anytime when I was a baby or when I was a young kid, he never let anybody talk down to me. He would pick me up and put me in his arms so I could be at eye level with another adult, because he never wanted anybody to talk down to me. Uh, so, my parents did a great job of just fostering that as well.
That's fascinating. Now, what kind of work do you do now, Andrew?
Well, let's see. Right now, during the day, I'll do a little bit of day trading in the morning. Uh, I guess to go full circle with it, I used to be in nightlife promotions. I was up in upstate New York a few years ago, and I started my own nightlife promotion and management company. But obviously, the pandemic put the nail in the coffin in pretty much that whole industry. So I knew I needed to support my family, my children. So I started doing some day trading just to make a little additional income. And I found that I was actually pretty decent at it. My dad was a stockbroker growing up.
Uh,
So that helped. And then something else I always wanted to do, which I've been started doing, was, like I told you, I did martial arts growing up. And I always wanted to have my own school. So with this pandemic, I said, I can't have a place to go now because the restrictions are so great that it would be hard to start a school. So I started doing virtual martial arts lessons, private lessons, mindset training. So I pretty much, through the physical, mental, and spiritual teachings of martial arts, I help people achieve that positive, resilient warrior mindset.
amazing, amazing. So you're entrepreneurial as well.
I am, just like my daddy.
Now, what did you think of this whole Robin Hood GameStop thing, Andrew?
I thought that was
Involved in that? Were you involved in that?
No, I actually didn't hop into that. I
Okay.
missed the boat on that one. I just had I'm a little bit, I'm less speculative in my trading. I like doing gold and, I'm a little bit more into assets than some of the more speculative stocks. But I thought that was just fantastic. That was Wall Street. I mean, that was Main Street sticking it to Wall Street right
You
there.
really
And they got
that's
them.
the way you saw that, and you really liked it.
I it's not that I liked it. I just thought that it was, I mean, all those guys on that Wall Street Bets Reddit site, good on them. More power to them. They got them. They made their money.
Some people say that it democratized investing. It democratized investing. You agree?
I don't know. I don't. So because of the pandemic and because of the quarantine and because of some high profile individuals like Dave Portnoy, the
Right.
Barstool Sports
Yes.
president,
Are you a fan of his?
Yeah, I think he's great. Yeah, I think
Okay, yeah.
uh, day trading became more, or at least has become more mainstream, like in the public eye. But that whole concept of a group of traders getting together and being like, hey, look at the short float on this stock. My God, all of the big money in Wall Street is betting against the stock right now. Let's squeeze them. Let's see if we can squeeze them for some. That concept is not new, but it has never been done to the extent that this GameStop, that the Wall Street bets guys did it. And
Help
man,
level the playing field.
they took them for a ride. You know?
No,
Now,
no,
I will say that if you're looking at long term, the Wall Street guys are going to be right eventually. I mean, eventually, GameStop is a dying business. That industry that
yeah.
is, so they will be right
And
at
it's
some.
always hard to beat the house.
Yeah, it is. I mean, these
Right.
guys have ungodly amounts of money and they wield it very effectively. They
But
know what.
but they had a hell of a moment and they taught them a bit of a lesson, huh?
Yeah, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They surely did.
Andrew, you're a Jersey guy, so are you a Springsteen fan?
Nah,
You're not.
no.
And you've got some opinions about that Jeep commercial. I know you
Yeah,
do.
I actually saw some people, including Matt Rooney. He's been
Matt
on a
Rooney,
tear with this with Springsteen on Facebook.
our friend
Some of his
Matt
posts.
Rooney of St. Jersey. I hope you're watching, Matt, St. Jersey blog. Go ahead, Andrew.
So, but I mean, I remember when I watched the commercial, I said, "What this? What is going on here? Here's this guy. He's in a cowboy suit in the middle of America. He's from Jersey. What is this? He used to wear sleeveless denim, and now he's got now he's got his cowboy hat. He has a little bit of a southern drawl. Come on, man. Where's the yos? I would at least bought it if he said yo. You know, let's buy a Jeep. All right, there you go, Bruce.
And he was lecturing us
He was, yeah.
about
I know. At a time, he said, "Here's where everybody comes together." Man,
a meeting in the middle.
yeah. Let's
And
not
I
get
don't know
started
about
on
you. I don't know about you, Andrew, but I find most people that take the middle road. Listen, I'm not against compromise. I know the value of it. And I do think people, as Americans, we have to find common ground on certain things. But I don't think the middle is a very sexy place. Okay.
well put.
I don't think it's a very exciting place.
Well, it used to be common ground was just freedom. That was the common ground. Was speaking your mind.
Right.
I hear often quoted saying, you don't have a right in this country to not be offended. There's freedom of speech. So if you don't like what somebody says, you got the right to disagree, and that's about it. But the concept of freedom used to be the common ground. If you want to go out and be a baker, do it up. I'm going to be a cowboy, right?
Right.
But yeah, I always find it tough to take any of these super rich celebrities seriously, when they're talking about, oh my God, this is terrible, and they get off on a tangent about everything should be free, whatever they're talking about, very leftist, pushing very leftist ideas. I'm sure Bruce Springsteen has a bevy of lawyers and accountants that make sure that his house that he owns near the Stone Pony, he's paying the lowest possible taxes for.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, I think some people have said he has like a horse farm or something so that he doesn't have to really pay very much taxes on that land. And listen, I'm a capitalist. I'm entirely for everybody getting every tax break that they can. But don't engage in those kinds of things and then come to me as a great champion of the downtrodden.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I know.
there's an element of hypocrisy there. Andrew, you're also a Second Amendment advocate.
I am. Yeah.
Mhm.
You should definitely be allowed, that you have the constitutional right to bear arms, to protect yourself. And
Right.
that's pretty much it, open and shut.
Well, it's right there in the Constitution. It's written pretty
Yeah.
clearly.
Number two.
Yes, and that's something that the late Justice Antonin Scalia pointed out, and he was a strict constructionist. Well, Andrew, this has been a wonderful chat with you tonight. He's got
Thank
us.
you, sir.
What's it say there on that mug? It
Oh,
says,
this is a Black Rifle coffee that I'm drinking right now.
"Oh, okay." Is that a special brand of coffee there, Andrew?
It is. Yeah, they're veteran owned. Uh, they're out from, I believe they're out in Utah.
Okay,
Yeah, veteran owned,
great.
just a good bunch of
You're
guys.
supporting a good American company.
Yeah, they're all former Green Berets.
Which, by the way, Jeep is owned by Fiat, which is not an American company. It's a European company.
There you
Okay,
go.
just so everybody knows that.
There you go.
Ford is an American founded and American owned company, also General Motors as well, but not Chrysler. And Chrysler is Fiat Chrysler. But anyway, just for the record. But Andrew, this has been a great chat. I'm so glad we had a chance to do this. I'm going to put this up on my blog, on
Great.
various social media platforms. I invite
Very
you
good.
to do the same. And I hope we get a chance to chat again.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Absolutely, you're going to keep me apprised and in touch with things in Morris County, because my good friend Chris Christie often doesn't have the time to do that. He's involved in other things. I'm not always sure entirely what they are, but I'm sure they're all very honorable. Okay.
Yeah, we just had a big moment in Morris County actually this past week. They just, Morris County for the longest time has been, I think, one of only 3 counties in the state that hasn't had a party line. And they
Okay.
just the Republican committee up here just decided that for this upcoming year and for the foreseeable future, they are going to be instituting a party line to help kind of level the playing field against the Democrats that use that party line system.
You agree
So
with it, Andrew?
yeah, at first I was a little apprehensive because I wasn't informed as I
Mhm.
should be. But after doing my homework and talking to both sides of the arguments, I came to my own conclusion that, okay, this is going to be a great tool to use it's kind of like, it's going to help streamline the process and it's going to help unify the county so that instead of constant infighting, because Morris County is home to some brutal primaries.
I know.
Yeah, it's going to help kind of smoothen that out to some degree, and I think it's going to be an effective tool in the fight against.
Wonderful. I agree with you. I agree with you. Andrew, it's been great chatting with you.
Thank you, Dan.
And I invite you to share this as well once we put it up, so we get wide dissemination on it. And we hope to be chatting again.
Thanks so much, Dan. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual.
All right, sir.
Bye.
Bye now.